All right, Shalom. I'm going to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem L'Chakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops at Great Millstone. I'm your brother, Rabbi Knapp, coming out with a lesson, Lord's will. This is edifying to the Lord's elect. It's another day in Babylon. Just going to keep pushing this word, man, until this place be destroyed. You know, for all the wickedness. You know what, every time I've been getting a foul smell over here every time I come over here, man. That shit is foul. I don't know what, might be a dead body somewhere around here, man. Yeah, that shit smell like a dead body. Matter of fact, let's move the, yeah, someone died over here, man. I'm pretty much sure someone's buried somewhere over here. It's a very foul smell. The last time I was over here, I'm not even playing, man. Shit fucking stinks, man. You know what? This is where I was at last time. It smells like death. All right. Anyways, I'm still do the lesson. And Lord's will, this is edifying. Let's see what's in the news. Let's see what's in the news real quick. Yeah, that's it's horrible smell, man. Somebody probably OD'd somewhere and just been left there. It smells like for like a month. Someone's dead up in there. Believe that. That's a dead body, man. Ooh. You know what? Got me thinking about a precept. It says, what's that scripture where it says it? In their stink shall come up, KJV. The crazy part is, I'll start there in Isaiah 34. The crazy part is, it didn't start smelling. As soon as I turn on the camera, that's how you notice it's spiritual, man. It was just fine, and as soon as I turn on the camera, a rotten smell. Like, literally, I'm telling you, man, it's a dead body, man. Because where I'm at, there's a garage here. So, you know, someone that's homeless might be able to sneak upstairs or something. He might have not have came back down, man. But let me start here in the book of Isaiah, the 34th chapter. Isaiah 34, verse 1. Come near, ye nations, to hear, and hearken, ye people. So the nations that Isaiah is talking about is pretty much everybody. All y'all need to hear the words of the Lord. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world and all things that come forth of it. So what's everything that's inside of the world? That's even the trees, the birds. Everybody needs to hear the word of the Lord. Isaiah 34, verse 2, for the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations. Indignation is righteous anger. It's upon all nations. So that just gives you a key insight that these other nations are wicked as hell too. Just as much as you hear about Babylon and all this Epstein bullshit, that same shit's going on in these other governments too. Because they established themselves after this government, so you can expect the same type of things going on over there. It says, in his fury upon all their armies. Okay, the fury is your anger. Okay, it's upon all their armies. So he's gonna bring that to pass, man. You're gonna get to see the Lord's fury when he actually unleashes it on these different nations. He have utterly destroyed them. He has delivered them to the slaughter. So that's prophecy, okay? He utterly destroyed them. So there ain't gonna be no more militaries anymore, okay? And I can't wait for that day. The only power that's gonna be in charge is Yasharallah, which is Israel, okay? You men out there who are teaching this word, man, you gonna be the military, so to speak. Or you're gonna be the one implementing the law down here, establishing the law, going around making sure the heathen are doing everything according to our laws. Because our laws are not being implemented down here on the earth. And who's standing up to keep these laws? Not the so-called small hat, not the so-called white man. That's pinky in the brain. They're more worried about taking over Iran right now. They're not worried about establishing the law. If they were establishing the law, they wouldn't have to worry about going into Iran. Okay? Because they're just not the people is what I'm hitting at. He had delivered them to the slaughter. The slaughter is the valley of Jehoshaphat, where all you different nations are. It was just in the Middle East, Saudi Arabia. Okay, you're gonna go over there and fight, and you're gonna die over there. That's where nations go to be destroyed. As a matter of fact, let me jump over here to the book of Luke, chapter 18. This has been ringing in my head, man. Luke chapter 18. And where's that? Where he said, I beheld Satan fall as lightning. I think it's Luke 18. Let's see, Luke 18. Maybe I'm bugging. Yeah, I'm probably bugging. Let me see. I beheld Satan. I beheld Satan fall as lightning. Luke 10 and 18. I was in Luke 18 and 10. Luke 10 and 18. Luke 10 verse 18. Where you at? Luke 10 verse 18. Okay. Yep, it says, I'll start at 17. It says, in the 70 returned again with joy, saying, Lord, even the devils are subject unto us through thy name. And he said unto them, I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven. That's what we was witnessing. Every single day, it's more of a decline of this place, man. Today's gonna be worse than it was yesterday. When you watch the news tonight, you're gonna hear more shit. I was watching some, they said the UK Parliament, they're being, Shalom. All right, the water, all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Flippin' Jim, Shalom. That the UK Parliament, they're dealing with the Epstein files too. Keir Starmer hired this dude named Mandelson or some shit like that. And he was on the Epstein file. So, and then they voted 365 to 111 or something like that. I saw a brother post that they don't want to look into the Epstein's files, man. So this is all Europe. And I wouldn't be surprised if these are happening in these Afghanistan, all these, they're weird, man. These governments, they're wicked because they're not establishing the law, so they live in according to their own mind. We know, according to Jeremiah 17 and 9, that the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. And then you got a heathen nation with all this power and authority. All they're gonna do with it is destroy themselves. So that's why we're seeing Satan, which means adversary, fall like lightning. Okay, lightning, it's fast and it's abrupt. It's just quick and it just destroys itself. You know, in the eyes of the Lord, this is just a small time. You know, one day with the Lord is 1,000 years upon the earth. So we're seeing it in real time, how fast a kingdom's falling. You know, just a couple days ago, Pam Bondi was just basically sitting in front of the whole country defending pedophiles and telling you, look at the stock market. Look how great the stock market is, man. Then you look at things like that, when you got the eyesight, you start looking like, what the hell are people protesting about? You over here fighting over immigration and shit like that. You should be fighting over the people who are fucking a bunch of pedophiles are running your damn country. But these people are too low level to understand. They can't think above their measly lives, man. They can't come out of that. Never mind get to a point where they can actually think about the Lord. They're so low, man. It's a low mindset, man. You talk to people, even on the comic boards, man, they don't understand that there's no such thing as black and white people, but they feel offended when you talk about them. You getting mad about something that doesn't even exist, you know? So this is why people's mindsets ain't even right, man. And it's a hard thing. It's a hard thing to come out here and work and labor to do. But this is the work of the Lord, man. And he don't care. He still wants you to go out and teach his people, even though they're low like that. You know, it's like you in that movie Idiocracy. But the Lord still got people going out doing the work. Hey, that's a blessing within itself. It's the book of John, chapter 9. verse number 1, and as Yahushua passed by, he saw a man which was blind from his birth. And his disciples asked him, saying, Master, who did sin, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? Yahushua answered, neither have this man sinned nor his parents, but the works of God should be made manifest in him. I must work the works of him that sent me while it is day. The night cometh when no man can work. That's right. We're working the work of him that sent us. Because there's going to be a time where ain't going to be no more work to do, man. It's going to be all shut up. This word's going to be shut up. The ministry's over. They're already telling you need subscriptions to use your own printer. You need subscriptions to use your own Microsoft Word. All that shit used to be free, but now you need a subscription for this, that, and the third. But they're just priming you and getting you ready to take that MOTB, because they're going to tell you that the only way you're going to get on the internet is if you have, first of all, they're going to start telling you with your biometrics, but then they're going to tell you that you need to take the chip. Okay, so we got to put in this work while it's still day, man. Let me go back over here. Isaiah 34, verse 3, their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood. And that's why I smell a foul smell over here, man. I can imagine that. Imagine a whole army. I'm thinking there's one dead body upstairs. How you doing? Good morning. But it could be, imagine a whole damn military, man. It's gonna be a horrible stench. Okay? It's going, and the Bible gives me a precept for Joel 2:20, and that's a good precept. So whoever put these precepts in my Bible knows what the hell's going on. This is a Holman Bible. Holman's probably an Edomite, so he knows what's going on. He don't know it fully, but I bet you he knows he's an Edomite. He knows this word is true. You can start to see that separation as we speak. As a matter of fact, let me go into the wheat and the tares, man. That's been on my spirit. Let me go there real quick. The wheat and the tares. It's a tares. What's that, Matthew? I can't remember where it is. 13. Yep, Matthew 13. Matthew 13. Let's jump over there real quick. Because this is what we're starting to see. In these last days, you're seeing more wickedness from Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, and there's more of a light being shined on the Israelites. Okay? Especially when all these things are being exposed. He's being exposed for the devil, but then you're seeing who's actually bringing out the truth of the Bible. Okay? So you're seeing the difference. And that's going to be made manifest more and more as we enter into these last days. This book of Matthew chapter 13, to the point where some people are going to be starving and they're going to see a man of the Lord, man. Okay? They're going to want to be around that man because they know, hold on, the Lord got something about this man. I told you in Isaiah the 13th chapter, he's going to make a man more precious than fine gold. And he is. Matthew 13, in verse number, I'll start at 23. No, I'll start at 24. It says, another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which sowed good seed in his field. But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way. But when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also. So the servants of the household that came and said unto him, Sir, didst not thou sow good seed in thy field? From whence then have it tares? He said unto them, an enemy have done this. The servant said unto him, Will thou then that we go and gather them up? So the point, speaking about this in the parables, basically talking about Jacob and Esau. Okay, Esau was able to take us down. Okay, he sowed his tares among the wheat during slavery and these other captivities. So he was able to, mix his seed, mingle his seed with the children of God. Okay, or just with the women, and brought forth those tares. That's why you can't tell who is who, and this is all a spiritual thing. So. But the Lord is telling you in this parable, because we don't know everybody that's the elect, or what tribe you actually go back to, because there's a lot of mixing. Okay, but the tare represents an Edomite, And the wheat represents ultimately the elect, but an Israelite. Okay. Matthew 13 and verse 29. But he said, nay, lest while ye gather up the tares, ye root up also the wheat with them. So the what is it? The good man who sowed the seed in his field, he told him not to take out all the tares right now. Just like we're not supposed to go out and go attack every so-called person you think is a so-called white man. That's not our job. Our job is to wait and endure like the Lord told us to do. We're not here to pick up arms and go fight against the devil, man. Yeah, we know he's the devil, but it is what it is, man. The Lord's going to be doing the separation. Okay? Matthew 13. That's why when you see groups like the Black Panthers, these people are fools. You see different, FBA or FDA with a federal foundationally black, whatever. These are groups that lack wisdom, man. They don't understand what's written in the book. They still calling themselves black. So that's a fool. Okay, so you should want to avoid people like that. People like that are going to be destroyed, man. Clearly, they don't watch the news. You don't see how Maduro got taken down with the discombobulator. You don't think he'll use that against you. You don't see robot dogs and robots being used. Then you're a fool. And he thinks his shotgun is going to deliver him in these last days. That's only a fool who would think like that. That's somebody who lacks wisdom. Okay, so and the Lord's not dealing with everybody just because you know you're Israel. That don't mean nothing. Shalom, King. You have a blessed day, my man. Matthew chapter 13, verse 30. Let both grow together, that's the wheat and the tare, until the harvest, which is when the Lord returns and redeems his elect. Okay, so we're going to let them both. We're not going to separate the wheat from the tares, man. Even though they look like, the same, until that separation starts to come. And that's what we're starting to see. We're starting to see the split between the wheat and the tare. That's why you see these Epstein files. Who's not on that? Who's far away from that? The men of the Lord, the people that are on the highways and hedges that ain't nobody listening to. That's the equal and opposite of those elites. There's an opposite elite on the right-hand side. And what are they doing? They're teaching the word. They're bringing up, they calling out corruption and wickedness. They're bringing it back up to the scriptures. They're turning many to righteousness. Like it tells you in Daniel, the 12th chapter. Let me grab that real quick. So you're seeing the difference between the two. Because there's nothing elite about a damn pedophile and a damn sodomite Edomite. There's nothing elite about an Edomite. He's a servant. He's a slave. That's going to be manifest too. It's going to be manifest when we get to, like I was saying yesterday, man. He's going to be cracking whips on his back until he acknowledges who he is in this Bible. And we're going to do that to all you nations, man. You're going back to being a Moabite, Ammonite, Hamite. Okay, whatever you are, there's 18 nations. You go back to one of them. Okay, Daniel 12 verse 4. I want to drop that. Daniel 12 verse 4. It says, but thou, actually no, it's lucky. It's at the top. I forgot where it's at. Daniel 12 and 1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. So Daniel's even prophesying about the elect. He's prophesying about the angels of the Lord. Okay, he's prophesying about Jacob's trouble. Okay, that the archangel Michael's standing up on behalf of the children of Israel, his elect. So during the time of Jacob's trouble. So Jacob's trouble consists of these troops, martial law, the famine of the word and a famine of actual bread, civil unrest, World War III, just all types of chaos, man. And we got to survive that. So Michael the archangel, and we probably gonna be on all types of lists. They got a digital profile. They're gonna be like, okay, this man is a T word, man, not a transformer, a TERR. Okay, you can spell the rest, and they might use that. He's against the state. You know, because this word is contrary. It is contrary to this world. Okay, he tells you in the book of James, we're not denying that. The Lord's not denying that. That's why not everyone can do this work. It ain't for everybody, man. My mind's prepared to the best of my ability. I know what comes with this, man. You're gonna get locked up, might die. But there's something in me that's like, who gives a fuck? Fuck this nigga, man. This nigga need to go. I'd rather cuss this nigga out the whole way. And every time the Lord give me breath, that's what I'm gonna use it to do. Cuss this damn devil out. He ain't nobody. And the Lord's controlling them anyway. So if I get put to death, just know the Lord did it to me. And then when I die, I'm gonna go tell the Lord to come destroy him when I'm dead too. I'm gonna be doing the same thing I'm doing now, just in a spiritual body, asking the Lord to destroy this place, this wicked ass kingdom. So it really ain't, the work don't ever stop. I probably was just up there complaining. I can't find James. Who's James? Lord was like, you know, I'm gonna send you down there, man. That matches up with the book of Luke 18. I think, you know what? I can't find James. Let's go to Luke 18 as a matter of fact. Let's go back over there and take a stop. Take another sip of that. Luke 18 and verse 1, and he spake a parable unto them to this end, that men ought always to pray and not to faint, saying there was in a city a judge which feared not God, neither regarded man, and there was a widow in that city, and she came unto him, saying, avenge me of my adversary. And he would not for a while, but afterward he said within himself, though I fear not God nor regard man, yet because this widow troubleth me, I will avenge her, lest by her continual coming she weary me. So that's why we continually, you know, that's for this is an unrighteous, this is a, what do you call it, a unjust judge, okay, or a judge which feared not God. So that's like an Edomite judge, you know, someone that down here, you know, you always, you know, a woman might always looking for justice, a black woman, oh, my kid got shot in the street. You going to the police precinct trying to catch up with the case. Like, what are y'all doing to get it? And every single day they're telling you the same thing. Oh, we're looking into it, but, you know, nobody's been coming up to speak, you know, and years later, you still coming up. Years, 2 years, 3 years, you still going. Avenge me of my adversary. You know, that's what we doing when it comes to the Lord too. But this is what that woman was doing with the judge that feared not God. Luke 18 verse 6, and the Lord said, hear what the unjust judge saith, and shall not God avenge his own elect, which cry day and night unto him, though he bear long with them? I tell you that he will avenge them speedily. Nevertheless, when the Son of Man cometh, shall he find faith on the earth? Because it's showing you that that's how detrimental Jacob's trouble is, man. Is that's going to really afflict your soul. Some of y'all ain't going to be able to eat, drink water. You're not going to be able to participate in society. And you saw how weak these people are with the government shutdown, the 43-day government shutdown. People saying how they're going to rob stores, and you know, this is why it tells you in Proverbs, the 30th chapter. Let me grab that. I didn't even finish Daniel, but the Spirit got me moving. Proverbs 30 and verse number I start at 7. Oh, that's a Psalm, so lucky. I'm in Proverbs. I'm in Psalms. So that was another good song too. Psalm 30 is a good song. So, Proverbs 30, and verse number Proverbs 30 and 7. 2 things have I required of thee: deny me not, Salaki, deny me them not before I die. Remove far from me vanity and lies. Give me neither poverty nor riches. Feed me with food convenient for me, lest I be full and deny thee and say, who is the Lord? Or lest I be poor and steal and take the name of God in vain. So see, they will they knew they were going to be poor and they were going to steal and take the name of God in vain. They wasn't going to trust that the Lord was able to deliver them and feed them. So these people lack faith. And that's why, going back to Luke, the 18th chapter, it tells you, shall I find faith in the earth? Because that's people are going to be tried and they don't understand. A lot of them ain't even building themselves up. They're not listening to the words of the Lord. None of them actually, the word don't come across them at all. You know, some people might stop even for a second, you know, hear a few words. At least the word somewhat went into your mind. At least you heard, okay, someone's speaking about the Lord, let me keep it moving. But that thought of just thinking about the Lord, that's precious, man. That's precious. Especially, but they might not get the whole truth, so they might revert to their false god, their false idols. Because they think all the gods are the same. Some people got some weird ideology out there. That's why it's, you know, you got to break up the fallow ground, man. That's what you do before you plant your seed. You got to break up the earth, then you plant the seed, and then it grows. And then you got to water it. You got to constantly water it, and then it grows. But a lot of people, they, you know, this word is precious, man. You know, if you don't cultivate your faith, man, it's gonna just dry up and die. So that's just a sign or a token of the measure of faith that this world has, man. It ain't a lot. And by the time the Lord puts you through the furnace, you ain't gonna come out the other end as fine gold as he describes the men of the Lord. Okay. Daniel 12 in verse 2. And many of them that sleep in the mist and the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life and some to shame and everlasting contempt. So when you're met with this word, the dust represents confusion. When you get that, when the word is when you're met with the word, you know, you're supposed to be converted, or at least that seed's supposed to be planted, it's supposed to grow. But a lot of y'all don't cultivate. You know, when you read the whole chapter of Matthew, the 13th chapter, it talks about the parable of the seed, okay? How it goes into different types of grounds. You have to have that good ground, which is your mind, in order to receive this word and it actually flourish into something. But most people's minds, they're corrupt. It's too hard. The seed never really gets in, or if it does get in, it doesn't take root because of the cares of this world. So a lot of people are, you know, there's a constant process of this word trying people, and it ain't sticking with everybody. And it says, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. So on this side, you're gonna go from shame to everlasting contempt, because you're gonna deny this word, you're gonna get put to death, and then you're gonna come into the kingdom with your head down for a long time. Who knows how long that is? But then you, on the opposite of that, you're gonna have men of the Lord who are being praised on the highest level. Okay? You look at some of the people who get praised in this world, you know, that's not even close to, you know, the elect and the men of the Lord. Imagine Yahweh Shai. Look how much praise he's gonna get for all eternity. Imagine the Most High. Look how much praise he's gonna get for all eternity. Now trickle down to King David, 12 disciples, the elect of Israel. Okay? These are the men that the Lord is going to exalt in that time. All right? These are the men that were standing for righteousness in a perverse, crooked generation where no one saw any value in the Lord. Okay? They invested their lives into serving Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. Daniel chapter 12, verse 3. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. So those are the stars that turn many to righteousness. This is the time to turn many to righteousness. All right? And they're going to be like the stars forever and ever. Going back to 1 Corinthians, the 9th chapter, with that corruptible crown. That's what we're working for. We're not working for the corruptible. We're working for the incorruptible crown. Okay, that's going into second Ezra, the second chapter. Matthew 13. Did I finish this? Yeah, Matthew 13 and 29. But he said, nay, lest while ye gather up the tares, ye root up also the wheat with them, that both grow together until the harvest. And in the time of harvest, I will say to the reapers, gather ye together the tares, and bind them in bundles to burn them, and gather the wheat into my barn. So the wheat are the elect of Israel. They're going to go into the chariots, according to Isaiah the 26th chapter. That's consecrating the marriage. But the tares are going to get bundled up and burned. And that's talking about you Edomites. All right, y'all going to get burned up. And that's what you get. All the wickedness you be doing out here. I'm glad you niggas is being exposed. You damn devils, man. And don't think it's just the elites. The so-called elites, I should call them. They ain't nothing elite about drinking blood. They're really the basis of men, the scriptures call them. They're the vilest thing on the earth. This is the book of Isaiah 26. And in 20, it says, come my people, enter thou into thy chambers, and shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself as it were for a little moment, until the indignation be overpassed. So that's talking about the elect and the chariots, while he's destroying Babylon the Great. He's gonna deliver them into the chariot, and then he's gonna show you what he's gonna do to the wicked. Okay? I didn't even grab Joel 2 verse 20. Let me jump over there too, because that's going into the northern army, showing you that this devil knows what's going on here. Joel chapter 2 verse 20. But I will remove far off from you the northern army, and will drive him into a land barren and desolate, with his face toward the east sea, and his hinder part toward the uttermost sea. And his stink shall come up, and his ill savior shall come up, because he have done great things. So the northern army is talking about America. He's going to bring it to a land that's barren and desolate, which is Saudi Arabia, in that area, with his face toward the East Sea. The East Sea is referring to the Euphrates River. And his hinder part toward the utmost sea, which is the Red Sea, and his stink shall come up. So that's the smell of them being destroyed over there. Okay, they're gonna be destroyed over there in the Middle East. That's the Valley of Jehoshaphat. Okay, that's where the Lord's gonna be bringing these armies, like he was telling us in Isaiah the 34th chapter. Okay, and this is what we're supposed to wait for. This is why we're not supposed to take out the tares, like these stupid ass people are talking about out there, man. That's a demon. That's a spirit that's trying to sift the house of Israel, the elect. Because ultimately, only the elect are going to get this. For some reason, you see it when you teach the word, how silly people are, how stupid they are. Zephaniah chapter 3. And, that's Zechariah, Salakia. That's Zechariah. Where are you at, Zephaniah? Zephaniah chapter 3. And I'll start at the top. It says, woe to her that is filthy and polluted, to the oppressing city. She obeyed not the voice, she received not correction. She trusted not in the Lord, she drew not near to her God. Her princes within her are roaring lions, her judges are evening wolves. They gnaw not the bones till the morrow. Her prophets are light and treacherous persons. Her priests have polluted the sanctuary. They have done violence to the law. So that's talking about the nation of Israel. Okay. I believe he's prophesying against Judah. Okay. They haven't, we didn't establish the law. We were going off just the same shit we see in the so-called white man dead. Israel did all that shit, man. We were being wicked too, sacrificing kids and shit. Tells you that. We were doing the same shit. Okay, and look how low he brought us. He whooped our ass for that. So it tells you in Jeremiah 49:7, Esau thinks that nothing's gonna happen to him for doing the same shit Israel did. All that wicked shit he's doing, we served all these gods. Moloch, we were doing it all, man. So it's not that Esau, it's just that Esau, we did it as a nation. We didn't mass distribute it to all the nations. That's what that nigga did. We were wicked, but not on the level as Esau. Esau got other nations. He's pushing that shit on the people, man. You know, the Lord judged us as a nation. These other nations were already going off. We were the holy people, then we turned into that shit. You know, but Esau, he done whipped up a pot and he's pouring cups out to all these other nations. We didn't do that. Zephaniah 3 and verse 5, the just Lord is in the midst thereof. He will not do iniquity. Every morning doth he bring his judgment to light. He faileth not, no, but the unjust knoweth no shame. Yeah, every day the Lord's judging this place, man. But, you know, someone who lacks wisdom, they don't understand why these things are happening. They'll never bring it back to the Lord. Like I said, they can't think on things like that. They contributed to police brutality. They contributed to something other than the Lord. They'll even give Satan credit before they give the Lord credit. You know? They're like, oh, the devil, man, he did that. You know? And they don't understand Isaiah 45 and 7. You can show them the precept, but they'll never put two and two together. Because you got to eat the whole roll. Zephaniah 3. As a matter of fact, let me go back to, I didn't finish Daniel the 12th chapter. Let me jump up. Daniel 12 and 10. Let's get a little bit more in there. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Daniel 12 in verse 10. It says, many shall be purified and made white and tried, but the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand. So that's why a lot of y'all ain't gonna get it. But the wise are the elect, they're gonna understand. Just like it tells you in Matthew the 25th chapter, 5 wise virgins and 5 were foolish. The 5 wise are a representation of the elect of Israel. And the foolish represent the 2/3 of the nation of Israel who hear this word and don't see any value in it. Zephaniah chapter 3 verse 6, I have cut off the nations, their towers are desolate. I made their streets waste, that none passeth by. Their cities are destroyed, so that there is no man, that there is no inhabitant. So if this happened to the nation of Israel, what's going to happen to the so-called white man Esau Edom? That's done this at a much higher level than we did. Zephaniah 3 verse 7, I said, surely thou wilt fear me, thou wilt receive instruction, so their dwelling shall not be cut off, howsoever I punish them. But they rose early and corrupted all their doing. So he wasn't going to he was going to punish us, but he wasn't going to destroy us like he's going to do with Esau. So, you know, that's mercy right there. But he's not going to have any mercy. Zephaniah 3 verse 8, therefore wait ye upon me, saith the Lord Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them my indignation, even all my fierce anger, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. So that's his indignation, which is his righteous anger. You got to wait upon him for him to do all of this. So it's not our job to go around separating the tares from the wheat. Okay? For then will I turn to the people a pure language, that they may all call upon the name of the Lord to serve him with one consent. So that pure language is the Paleo Hebrew. That's why we call him Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. That's the Paleo Hebrew for saying he is in the name of his son, the deliverer. Or he is the deliverer, which is Yahushai. Okay, so he gave us, a lot of us don't speak Hebrew, you know, very well, but that's talking about enough to at least know the name of the Lord. These heathen that speak so-called Hebrew, which is Yiddish, they don't know the name of the Lord. They call him Hashem. So you can have all the Hebrew, all the accolades, the name. I mean, you could have the name Israel. You can be in the land, and none of that matters if you can't serve the Lord. So this is why, you know, they boast on things that don't even matter. They're not serving the Lord, number one. Number two, you don't have a covenant. You didn't make a covenant with the Lord by sacrifice. Okay, that's only the nation of Israel. All right, so we boasting in these things, man. That's the last thing. We can't boast in nothing in the world. Heathen are walking around looking at you like you just a scum of the earth. But hey, listen, at least we got the Lord. That's all we got. We have no inheritance in this land, man. And you're not supposed to have an inheritance here. But Jake wants to get something here. He can feel comfortable here, man. This place is gonna be destroyed. All right, Zephaniah, which matches up with Isaiah 19 and 18. Let's grab that as a matter of fact. Let's grab that too. So that's why we know the name of the Lord is very important. Isaiah chapter 19, verse 18. In that day shall 5 cities in the land of Egypt speak the language of Canaan. And when you look at the word Canaan, it goes into Hebrew. Okay? And swear to the Lord of hosts, one shall be called the city of destruction. And that's talking about America. Okay? And those 5 cities represent some major cities that are out here in Egypt. Modern day Egypt, according to Revelation 11 and 8, is talking about America. Okay? And some of those major cities would be, first and foremost, New York City, where the Lord used this word to come out. Okay? And there's major groups in California, Texas, Dallas area, more specifically, but there's some in Houston and other parts of Texas. What other major cities? Florida. And I said LA, said New York, said Texas, Chicago, you know? I would say those would be 5 major cities where, you know, a lot of those are some major cities where the men of the Lord are teaching his word. Okay? And they scattered through all the world, man. I've seen people in Nigeria bringing this word up, acknowledging the fact that they're Israel. So Israel scattered through all the earth. Even in China. I haven't seen any Chinese person. I've seen some Chinese looking. I know some Chinese people that are Israelites. They don't know they're Israelites. They're in my family, but you know, they're Israel. You know. So I've seen it with my own eyes. So I know I've seen a Moabite that's an Israelite, or a Moabite looking person that's an Israelite. Or a so-called white person that's an Israelite. I got a cousin that he even thinks he's white. But he's young. He be looking at me. He don't understand. He's like, he be calling me his uncle. He be like, they be asking him, why is your uncle so dark and you're white? And he's too young to understand. You know? But they exist. Zephaniah chapter 3 and verse number 10. From beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, my suppliants, even the daughter of my dispersed, shall bring mine offering. In that day shalt thou not be ashamed for all thy doings, wherein thou hast transgressed against me. For then I will take away out of the midst of thee them that rejoice in thy pride, and thou shalt no more be haughty because of my holy mountain. I will also leave in the midst of thee an afflicted and poor people, and they shall trust in the name of the Lord. The remnant of Israel shall not do iniquity, nor speak lies, neither shall a deceitful tongue be found in their mouth. For they shall feed and lie down, and none shall make them afraid. So this is when we get into the kingdom. Sing, O daughter of Zion. Shout, O Israel. Be glad and rejoice with all the heart, O daughters of Jerusalem. The Lord have taken away thy judgments. He hath cast out thine enemy. The King of Israel, even the Lord, is in the midst of thee. Thou shalt not see evil anymore. In that day it shall be said to Jerusalem, fear thou not. And to Zion, let not thine hands be slack. The Lord thy God in the midst of thee is mighty. He will save. He will rejoice over thee with joy. He will rest in his love. He will joy over thee with singing. I will gather them that are sorrowful from the solemn assembly, who are of thee, to whom the reproach of it was a burden. Behold, at that time I will undo all that afflicteth thee, and I will save her that halteth, and gather her that was driven out. And I will get them praise and fame in every land where they have been put to shame. And that's talking about the nation of Israel. Okay? Ultimately the elect. And at that time will I bring you again, even in the time that I gather you, for I'll make you a name and a praise among all the people of the earth, when I turn back your captivity before your eyes, saith the Lord. So that's what the Lord's going to do, man. When he brings back your captivity, doesn't mean to bring you back into captivity, but when you look into that word, bring back, it means to restore you, or to pretty much reverse your captivity. All right, so we coming out of slavery, not to go back into it. Now let me look at some of these, see what people saying. God is the way, the truth, and the life. Hi, I like your vid. Say hi. Buy $20 for 10 push-ups. You're a fool. You buy O Block. I didn't know you're doing Bible talk. Sorry. Hello. Said hi. Where's the city? Deuteronomy is about your people, my brother. Hey, that's right. That's what some people know. And they're the Lord's people. Okay, let me grab this in the book of Exodus, 4th chapter. All right. Anybody that's scholarly would understand. Exodus 4. Let's start from the top. What time is it? Yeah, let's start from the top. Exodus 4:1. And Moses answered and said, but behold, they will not believe me, nor hearken unto my voice, for they will say, the Lord have not appeared unto thee, talking about the nation of Israel. And the Lord said unto him, what is that in thine hand? And he said, a rod. And he said, cast it on the ground. And he cast it on the ground, and it became a serpent. And Moses fled from before it. So he got scared. Okay, and that's spiritual power. And the Lord said unto Moses, put forth thine hand, and take it by the tail. And he put forth his hand and caught it, and it became a rod in his hand, that they may believe that the Lord God of their fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, have appeared unto thee. So he didn't say the God of the whole world. Okay? He was specific about who he's a God to. He said the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob. He didn't say God to the so-called white man. Esau. Oh yeah, I'm his God too. He tells you in the book of Malachi 1 and 3, and I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. You're roughly paraphrasing. That's not going Malachi 3 and 4. Malachi 1, 3 and 4. Exodus 4 verse 4, and the Lord said, Exodus 4 and 5, that they may believe that the Lord, I just read that. Exodus 4 and 6, and the Lord said furthermore unto him, put now thine hand into thy bosom. And he put his hand into his bosom, and when he took it out, behold, his hand was leprous as snow. So that also shows you that Moses was a so-called black man too. If you put your hand into your bosom and take it out, and it's leprous as snow, snow is white, okay, then what's your original color? Are you saying a white man's hand, he just put his hand in and came back out, it was the same color? No. Okay, Moses was the so-called black man too. And he said, put thine hand into thy bosom again, Exodus 4 and 7. And he put his hand into his bosom again and plucked it out of his bosom. And behold, it was turned again as his other flesh. So they don't even, it was once known, it was common to just be a dark-skinned man, okay? Just like when it says in Genesis, the 25th chapter, when Esau came out red all over like a hairy garment, he emphasizes the color red, but when it came to Jacob, he didn't say nothing about his color, because that's just normal. But Esau makes it look like this nigga's backwards, man. So of course he's gonna try to make it seem like your skin color is like something wrong with you, because there's something actually wrong with him. You know, when you go back to the Bible, when you go back to Genesis, you learn that this nigga's bearing the mark of Cain. He's a clean leopard. A clean leper is what he is. Don't point, lady. Damn witches. It's not good to point. That's what Edomites like to do. They like to point at you because in their head they think they're casting a spell on you, shooting an arrow at you through the spirit. And that's an old damn white bitch, man. That's why these people need to be destroyed. They're being revealed, man. Hey, all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. But we're not supposed to get, they can't do anything to the Lord. These people are just reprobate, man. Can't do anything to them. I seen this one Jake, he was walking, there was an Edomite behind him, and she kept pointing at him like this, like she was throwing shit at him. Because they're evil, you know? And that's why the Lord's gonna destroy these people. And when they go into slavery, they're going to pay for everything. Okay, all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. Now, a lot of people don't want to hear that. That's okay. Wait until your kids get kidnapped, eaten alive or something, man. Maybe that will get you to come out on these highways and hedges. Who knows? Maybe the Lord got to take your eye out of your face or something. I don't know. Exodus chapter 4. In verse 8, and it shall come to pass if they will not believe thee, which is talking about the nation of Israel believing Moses, neither hearken to the voice of the first sign, that they will believe the voice of the latter sign. So if they don't believe the snake being turned, the rod being turned into a serpent, or your hand turning leprous to snow, okay? And it shall come to pass, so that was like even more of a reassurance, or more proof that the Lord has visited him. Exodus 4 verse 9, and it shall come to pass, if they will not believe also these two signs, neither hearken unto thy voice, that thou shalt take of the water of the river, and pour it upon the dry land, and the water which thou takest out of the river shall become blood upon the dry land. So I'm going to pollute their water, their drinking supply, if they don't want to believe it. Okay? And Moses said unto the Lord, Exodus 4 verse 10, Yahweh, O my Lord, I am not eloquent, neither heretofore nor since thou hast spoken unto thy servant, but I am slow of speech and of a slow tongue, because he was raised up as an Egyptian. You know, he was raised amongst the damn heathen in Egypt. Okay? So he was speaking, he probably knew he probably knew some Hebrew, but not just like us. Imagine you had to go and then go speak to your people. Like some of us are American, right? But our families are from the Caribbean. You go over there and go teach those people over there in the Caribbean islands, man. They be looking at you. They're gonna call you a Yankee or something, man. You know, Jamaicans like calling people Yankees when you're from America. So Moses had to deal with that same thing. Exodus 4 and 11, and the Lord said unto him, who have made man's mouth, and who maketh the dumb or deaf or the seeing or the blind? Have not I the Lord? Now therefore go, and I'll be with thy mouth, and teach thee what thou shalt say. So he will be with thy mouth. And he speaks to his servants, the prophets. Okay, the prophets are the mouth of the Lord. Let me grab this in the book of Hosea, chapter 13. Hosea chapter 13. I see it all the time, these damn devils, man. These are the same bitches, and they be your nurses, they be your teachers, they be teaching your kids. Disgusting, man. Disgusting. They hate you so much, but they want to be always around you. Oh, let me help you out. And this is why you don't want to. You don't want to be nowhere near these damn Edomites, man. May the Lord put their asses to death. Hosea chapter 13. And Hosea 13. Or is it? No, I think it's 12. Hosea 12 and 10. Yeah. Hosea 12 verse 10. I have also spoken by the prophets, and I have multiplied visions and used similitudes by the ministry of the prophets. So he's spoken by the prophets. Okay, so Moses, being a prophet too, he's concerned about what am I gonna say, you know, blah blah blah. And he said, I'm gonna be with your mouth. He's gonna put the words in your mouth to say to his people, because that's how he speaks to his people, through his servants, the prophets. This is the book of Exodus chapter 4. In verse 13, let me, Exodus 4, verse 12 again, Salakia. Now therefore go, and I will be with thy mouth, and teach thee what thou shalt say. Yeah, I'm going to teach you what you're going to say. And he said, O my Lord, send, I pray thee, by the hand of him whom thou wilt send. And the anger of the Lord was kindled against Moses, so he didn't want to teach. And he said, is not Aaron the Levite thy brother? I know that he can speak well, and also, behold, he cometh forth to meet thee, and when he seeth thee, he will be glad in his heart. And thou shalt speak unto him, and put words in his mouth, and I will be with thy mouth, and with his mouth, and will teach you what ye shall do. So there you go. So he actually used Aaron. He gonna make it happen, man. Okay, he'll have him teach you to say whatever. You're gonna make it. You're gonna do exactly what I told you to do, though. Okay. And thou, Exodus 4 verse 15, shalt speak unto him and put words in his mouth, and I will be with thy mouth and with his mouth, and will teach you what ye shall do, and he shall be thy spokesman unto the people, and he shall be to thee instead of a mouth, and thou shalt be to him instead of God. So you're gonna be like a God, man. And you're gonna use Aaron to speak to him. That's just exactly how the Lord speaks to his people, man, through his servants, the prophets. Okay. Exodus chapter 4, verse 17, and thou shalt take this rod in thine hand wherewith thou shalt do signs. And Moses went and returned to Jethro, his father-in-law, and said unto him, let me go, I pray thee, and return unto my brethren which are in Egypt, and see whether they be yet alive. And Jethro said to Moses, go in peace. So Moses killed an Egyptian and he ran, and he met a woman he had a kid, and then after I guess some time passed, he wanted to go back to Egypt. And the Lord said unto Moses in Midian, go return into Egypt, for all the men are dead which sought thy life, because they wanted to kill him because he killed those Egyptians for those two Hebrew people fighting. And Moses took his wife and his sons and set them upon an ass, and he returned to the land of Egypt. And Moses took the rod of God in his hand. And the Lord said unto Moses, when thou goest to return into Egypt, see that thou do all those wonders before Pharaoh, which I have put in thine hand. But I will harden his heart, that he shall not let the people go. So yeah, you're going to be using these things. He gave him that spiritual power. He gave him two things to do. First of all, he gave him the ability to speak, which is also a form of spiritual power. And then he gave us the rod, and then he gave him his hand to that can turn lepers to snow. Okay, Exodus 4, in verse 20, and Moses, in verse 21, and the Lord said unto Moses, when thou goest to return into Egypt, see that thou do all those wonders before Pharaoh, which I have put in thine hand, but I will harden his heart, that he will not let the people go, the people of Israel. And thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, thus saith the Lord, Israel is my son, even my firstborn. So that's showing you who the Lord's people are. Israel is my son, even my firstborn. So when they say the Lord's not dealing with Israel anymore, so you're saying he's not dealing with his firstborn son anymore, and he's dealing with the heathen nations? Who the hell are you? That's blasphemy. Okay? So you're saying he's not a good father. So that's how Esau likes to indirectly disrespect the Lord. Okay, he'll call it the son is the father. Okay. So, he'll throw, he's a perverse, he's profane, man. He's the devil. The devil just simply means deceiver. Okay?
No.
Exodus chapter 4. See, she said, I don't believe in God anymore, to be honest. I heard that. Every other word, lady. You might get put to death today. She an Edomite anyways, too. Maybe she's not. Who knows? It tells you in Matthew 12, verse 36, every idle word that man speaketh. Let me grab that. Matthew 12, verse 36. It says, but I say unto you that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give account thereof in the day of judgment. So you're going to have to pay for what you say. Okay? I mean, she's not supposed to believe. She's an Edomite, so she's in the right spirit. She don't believe in her God's face false anyways. So it is what it is. Exodus 4, verse 23. And I say unto thee, let my son go, that he may serve me. And if thou refuse to let him go, behold, I will slay thy son, even thy firstborn. So he's talking to Pharaoh. We need to go so we can serve the Lord. We can't keep the law, statutes, and commandments with Esau in any form of power. You can't even wear fringes that are 100% cotton in this nigga's land. This nigga's a complete demon. I was reading about the Jubilee in Leviticus, the 25th chapter. This nigga's supposed to, after 7 years, you're supposed to give people back to their possessions. People supposed to return back to their land. That nigga don't uphold that. He stole all the land, all these different landmarks, and he's not returning people back to their landmarks. He broke all of these laws. You don't keep the land Sabbath. Leviticus 25th chapter goes into that too. You know, for 6 years, you're supposed to reap. The 7th year, you're supposed to let whatever that, you're not supposed to prune your vineyard. So you let it all die, and that replenishes the earth, and then that following year, you're gonna have way more abundance again. Okay? But nope, he wants to continue to deprive the land of nutrients and then put GMO shit in there, which causes all types of health problems, man. He's a full-blown demon, man. The creation was good when you read Genesis, the 1st chapter. He's here to turn it upside down. And that's what he did. Exodus chapter 4 and verse 24. And it came to pass by the way in the inn that the Lord met him and sought to kill him. Then Zipporah took a sharp stone and cut off the foreskin of her son. So look at that. And it came to pass the way in the inn that the Lord met him and sought to kill him. Who was he talking about? Moses. He was about to kill him, man. And Zipporah, which is his wife, right, took a sharp stone and cut off the foreskin of her son and cast it at his feet and said, surely a bloody husband art thou to me, because he didn't circumcise his son. So the Lord's going to put his ass to death. Okay? So the Lord ain't, and that was, you know, shows you the Lord's not, he's no joke, man, breaking his laws. And he's no respecter of persons. Okay, he said he met him. He was about to put him to death, man. And the Lord, Yahweh said to Aaron, go into the wilderness to meet Moses. And he went and met him in the mount of God and kissed him. And Moses told Aaron all the words of the Lord who had sent him and all the signs which he had commanded him. And Moses and Aaron went and gathered together all the elders of the children of Israel. And Aaron spake all the words which the Lord Yahweh had spoken unto Moses, and did the signs in the sight of the people. Who's bringing the gateway in? What the fuck is that? Salakia. Exodus 4, verse 30. And Aaron spake all the words which the Lord had spoken unto Moses, and did the signs in the sight of the people. And the people believed. And when they heard that the Lord Yahweh had visited the children of Israel, and that he had looked upon their affliction, then they bowed their heads in worship. So just like we going through affliction now. Okay, we worshiping him now. We had to be afflicted in order to worship, man. You know, but the point of the matter, we're the children of Israel, all right? The Lord sent Moses, he raised up Moses and Aaron to go speak to the children of Israel in Egypt. So he'll raise up the prophets. He told them to let his people go. That's just like what the men of the Lord are doing now. They ain't really telling Esau to let them go, but they're telling that rise and depart, this is not your rest. So they're telling the people to get their mindset up out of this place. According to Micah 2 and 10. Because this nigga about to come down with great wrath, and you got to be prepared for that. This is the trial of your faith. This is the last days. So the Lord sends those prophets in the last days before he destroys the place like he did with Moses and Aaron. Then the plague started coming. He hardened Esau's heart. And I believe he's doing the same thing. He hardened the Pharaoh's heart, but I believe he's doing the same thing now, hardening Esau's heart. Because he's doubling down on his wickedness, man. tripling, quadrupling down. It's not getting any better. You know, these bitches will walk around and try to put curses on you. Meanwhile, there's a whole fucking pedophile ring running your government, and they still worried about you. So destroy them, Lord. Destroy them all, man. Blow this place up to smithereens. But I'm gonna end it here. Lord's will, this was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakakwadash, Shalom, Abad Babal, and Kwam Yasharallah.